you're the entrepreneur and it's your business, theoretically everything that's wrong with it is your fault, right? Like voluntarily or not. I was kind of looking into a way to scale myself and come up with like an offer that would be more of like a product or like a package kind of thing. I think it depends what your goals are. I think a good business is a business that serves your goal rather than you serving your business. So I was like, oh, can we talk about work or how's your day going or whatever it goes. And for a long time, I would interact with those because I'm like, if I'm wasting the scammer's time, then they're not scamming someone else.
Yourself, it's kind of an evolution. So it's not like a setback. It looks as a setback for most of us, depending where we are with our lives. But it's not. It's not. It's part of the process. It's part of the long-term gain, the long-term goal. So yeah, I'm sure that the way you saw it at that time and the way you see it today is the way you expressed it. I already have the answer. Is totally different. It's a lot more positive than negative overall.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
of course. Yeah. I mean, I think in the few months when it happened, like honestly, the worst thing about it was like twofold, right? Like the not having money was obviously sure a problem, but I think was the hardest thing is I'd never worked a corporate job before. So like figuring out what that is and how that works and getting a job was really, really tricky because everybody thought I was really like hot shit before. And then I went bankrupt. A lot of people were like, oh, you'll bounce back. And then I'm like, cool, can you give me a job? Oh, no, because you're an entrepreneur, you're going to leave.
Yeah.
Right? Which is this kind of dichotomy of how we almost, put entrepreneurs on a pedestal and everything. But no one wanted to kind of take a bet on me. I mean, until I eventually found someone. And ironically, I got that job because the guy had seen me on Dragon's Den. So like the guy remembered seeing me on TV and that's why he wanted me to work with him, and it took like that happened in the summer of 2018. I went bankrupt in September of 2017. Like it took me like 9 months, of me kind of trying to survive and make rent and stuff. And the thing that was the hardest was really just this thing where I thought I had a lot of people in my support network and my network in general and everything. And a lot of those people kind of just disappeared overnight. And then it's like the identity kind of search that came with going bankrupt where and that's the thing that I've only realized years after the fact, but for a long time, like, I defined myself by my company. So it's like, I would introduce myself like I'm the CEO of Food Room, but I didn't really have a life or anything outside of my company. So when the company was gone, there was nothing left, like I didn't have hobbies. I didn't work out. I didn't do anything anymore. So it took me a long time to kind of rebuild this identity and this sense of self and just, the confidence, like the self-confidence blows is like a year and year of long process, right? But that was much worse than the actual bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, my
This is
credit
why you're
sucks,
such a
but
good therapist today, I believe.
I don't know. I don't have the pretension to say that I'm a great therapist. I think I am a
But
default therapist because there's no one else.
in my opinion, in my experience, just the fact that you started with that and you believe that the psychological aspect is important, which you didn't say, but you said it, is key. Is key. I mean, I was not like that in the 20s, but after some years and 2 kids, I think that I'm better at psychology than before. So switching gear a bit, or perhaps Mo, do you have a question before I go?
Go for it, Steve. Go for it.
Okay, so switching gear, and so what today? So we talked about the context. We talked about your role, consulting versus builders, and doing both. So what is a good business today based on all your experience, and especially the latest one dealing with different types of entrepreneurs, different types of businesses, different business models, different markets? That's very fruitful for for consulting. So what is a good business from your point of view today in 2025?
I think it depends what your goals are. I think a good business is a business that serves your goal rather than you serving your business. And by you, I mean the entrepreneur who, like whoever you are who's listening to this. If you have a business and you feel like you are, like there's the bus test. If you get hit by a bus tomorrow morning, does your business stop or not?
Yeah, the expression about that's
Yeah.
right, being scalable, being working without you.
So that's a thing that I ask people a lot. Like if you feel trapped in your business, if you go on a holiday for 2 weeks and things don't run, like then you probably don't have a business. You might have a job, right? Like
Yeah.
you to some extent have employees and they're shipping things or whatever, right? But if no one's there to tell them what to do, they don't know what to do, then you haven't done a good enough job of setting up your business. And I'm gonna say something that might be kind of harsh, but I think, if you're the entrepreneur and it's your business, theoretically everything that's wrong with it is your fault, right? Like voluntarily or not. It doesn't mean you're a bad person or a bad entrepreneur, but I think it's your job to take accountability for things that go wrong in your business. And so if you're building a business and you don't give yourself the time to take a step back to be like working on your business rather than working in your business, um, how do you have the time to build the processes? How do you enable your staff to make the decisions? Like being a proxy, like if I'm not there, what would this person do? And kind of get them to think the way you would and make the calls you're hoping, you know.
We we are
Um,
totally aligned because we are a big evangelist of building systems to build your company. And something that was not, I didn't like the word process and processes when I was younger because
it's
when
not
I do
sexy.
something, and now this is the word I'm using the most because
Yeah,
helping others to build their businesses, they need to understand their processes, to build systems, to make some automation so they can scale up faster because human resources are very expensive. They are
yeah,
rare. They're living. You train them. So training an AI system, having processes well documented and executed by different people is less expensive. So all these things, and I won't to go too long. We have episodes about it, and we'll do more. But I hear you, and we are on the same page, Amélie.
yeah. It's interesting. I was talking to, so earlier when I were talking about like how I wanted to be building things, um, I was kind of looking into a way to scale myself and come up with like an offer that would be more of like a product or like a package kind of thing. And I've explored CRM integrations for quite a while, at the end of 2023, to only at the end of the day realize that um, it's really not fun. No one is excited at the idea of having to integrate a CRM. It's a thing that I do for almost every single one of my clients. Um, but I'm never selling them on a CRM. I'm always selling them on the outcome of having a CRM, right? Processes are not fun. They're not sexy. It's the most boring thing ever. And no one wants to acknowledge that they need them. So what people want was smooth like butter. They want things to work. They want balls to not be dropped. They want to know that things are going to work when they're not there. They want uncomplicated. And the CRM and a bunch of other processes does that, right?
Yep.
But it's also a tool that will also give you whatever you give it. So it's like garbage in, garbage out, right? If you don't use it properly, it's not going to give you what you want. So there are some points where you kind of need to position the technology as the tool, not the product, you know? And I got to a point now where, yeah, I still do a bunch of CRM integrations, but I don't sell them on, you need a CRM. I'm just like, how about we convert your Excel spreadsheet to a thing that will remind you and your clients that you guys have a meeting and so you don't forget. And then that's client that said, call me back Tuesday, you call them back 3 months later and you lost the sale that you could have potentially closed, you know?
I did a mistake a long time ago, selling a CRM to a construction company, and I've sold and implemented a lot of CRM in different associations, services company, and but with them, I think that I didn't talk. I did talk about the outcome, but it's in the construction market, and they have a different way. It's more tangible stuff.
Very, very niche, yeah.
So it's a different approach, and I'm learning. I'm always learning. So the next time I'm going to present it differently, but I know they need it. They know they need it. The guy wanted to have my phone number when he called me. I don't know. And when I get the proposal, oh, he's a CRM seller. So I say, okay, so I'm a digital transformation specialist, and I can create plans and doing implementations and help you on different things that you don't even know now. But people, as you alluded in a different topic, they want to put everybody in like a box, in a basket. Oh, man, Amélie is good at this. Steve is good at that. Who is good at that? And they cannot go beyond that. That's not the case. We can be transversal. We can be cross market, cross technology, cross even people. So
yeah, that's true. I did a webinar in the fall. I created a tool. It's like a Excel template that you can basically kind of use to see where your allocated blocks of time go for different kind of projects you're involved in, whether you're like a freelancer or an entrepreneur working on projects. And it's like a thing that I did for me that I was using, but I also was getting other clients to use it. So I basically just kind of put a Loom video with it. I was like, here, this is how this works. So you could use it. And I did a webinar to present that tool that I created and just kind of talk about ways that I help my clients optimize their time. And then someone messaged me, he's like, oh, you're a productivity expert now. And I was like, well, I was just like, it's one of the many things I could do with clients, because one of the first things that I do is always ask my clients, like, where do you put your time? Like, what have you done last week? And a lot of them don't even know, right? Because they're really reactive and not kind of proactive.
yeah.
And so I get them to audit their time in an effort to help them focus on the right things. Because if I don't know what you're putting your time on, how can I know what you should be putting your time? You know, and that's just like step one of working with me, right? It's just like a question I ask, but I figured this Excel spreadsheet saves me some time, so I have more value for my clients, and they can kind of do some of the work themselves. But it's interesting how the perspective. It almost feels like I don't know if you watch F1 or whatever, but there's like this saying, people are like, you're always as good as your last race. And it feels like people have really short memory, where whatever post they saw on LinkedIn, they're like, oh, that's what she does. And it's like, but things are not that black and white. And it's like this perspective. And that's why it's kind of nice to do a lot of outside of LinkedIn things and just kind of talk to real people sometimes and not just rely on what you see on a profile, I find.
Exactly, and yeah, it's very tough. I relate the post. We have many chances to post different things, but when you are, example, in a party or a networking event, you talk to people for 1 minute, 2 minutes, and speak about what you do, and you got interrupted. So that person got like a small part of not a long speech. The goal is not, but a long experience. So this is why sometimes we need to be straight to the point. And after that, we wait for the questions and we elaborate. We say, people, that's oversimplification. And the good side of people forgetting quickly is that could be an advantage sometimes to to use it. So but going back to like scaling up businesses and being reactive, I think it goes together, because you are reactive. So you're not work on the company. And going back to the construction company I dealt with, the guy wakes up at 5 or 6, start to work early, finish late. But I know that he's wasting perhaps 20%, 15%, maybe 25% of his time, because doesn't have the right tool and he just reacts during the day. And the next day, it's the groundhog day. So there is a way to remove that groundhog day, and it can work and expand and make better. But I think for me, it's my job to show him that he can have better outcomes with the right things without mentioning CRM or others. So this way, this is, I see it as a mission to send the right message for them to jump in. So that's cool.
I mean, that's super useful. And I think it's just like getting the problem I find is often people are so busy and just like don't have the mental bandwidth for those things. And they're like, I want the help, but I can't help you help me. And that's like some resistance that I've seen that I have sometimes with some clients. Like there's a project that I've started. It's like a tiny, tiny project that we started in December. And it's still not finished because every time I ask a question, it takes 3 weeks for me to have an answer. And it's just like, well, how am I supposed to help you? You know, like it's like it became like a kind of a qualifying question almost for me when I meet new clients now. So it's like, how much time can you spend with me? You know, like I want to sit down and I need this from you. And if you can't give me those things, then I can't work. Cause like, yeah, theoretically, I'm mostly, I can work by myself a lot, but I still need to understand your vision and your needs and, you know, those things to go and be like, oh, that's what they want. Let me do that for them.
There is a study from the MIT School of Management a long time now. It's a long time ago, and they studied a lot of different companies served by great, I would say, consulting firms regarding digital transformation, and they realized that four main aspects of the tech projects to fail, and three of the four were related to management. One with the other.
What was the other one?
And this is like, and they build a quadrant about fashionitas, conservatives, and all these things to put them in the different. So whatever they were part of those quadrants, management was the key. So every time on a first call, even before sending any proposal, ask them, so do you have time to work on that? Do you have somebody who has time to work and answer my questions? Because I don't charge by the hours. So I charge by a fixed price. So, and in the contract, it's written that based on time allocation by the business and getting the answers on time. And here's the end, the frame. And I make sure that I'm dealing. If not, I don't take the contract. I don't take the money.
Yeah, we had the video when I had the video agency. That's kind of how we worked, where we had a few different milestones where we needed the client's approval. And a lot of the times where people would reach out to us and be like, well, I need a video. We're like, well, it's 8 weeks. And like, why is it so long? We're like, well, because we know it's going to take you 2 weeks to get back to it. And it's like, you kind of have to account for it because there's like multiple, you know, approve the script and approve this and the concepts and whatever. Right. And, we would kind of rush sometimes for early delivery for clients who were kind of really in a rush. And then we're sending them the thing. And my email was like, hey, you know, I need your approval by this day. And if you don't answer me by this day, everything's pushed back to whatever amount, like the delivery and stuff. And you have to make it really clear, like non-responding will push back the delivery. Because a lot of the times they're like, no, everything's fine. And they don't realize. And then they're upset at the end because it's like, and especially for projects, I found that it was like, that was like the hardest part of my job, I found. Like getting the clients to give us the thing we needed to work.
In a video, it takes time to watch it entirely. If it is a 20-minute video or 15-minute video, so
I mean, we did short stuff, but it wasn't even that. It's just getting them to sit and give us the feedback. We did like 90-second stuff. But I think the value, it wasn't even. I mean, it's like sometimes it's just like the approval company, like because the company has to get this person and that person, and then the boss's boss and whatever other things, right?
It's interesting because we are talking about our side of things versus the entrepreneurs we are serving, but also we are entrepreneurs who got served. So I've been guilty of not responding fast enough on a few projects. So basically, I'm not judging. I'm judging, yes, but I'm judging myself at the same time. Because it's okay, I'm too busy on different things. And again, going back to being reactive is you're too busy working on certain stuff, so you don't answer these things. And going back to what you said about being like, buying you a job as a business is, and going back to your ego mention as well, because the ego said, if I'm not there, nothing works, nothing moves. I'm the only one who can do everything. And so they are proud of that. And for me, this is, you should not be proud of that, because as you well said, you don't have a business, you have a job. So all these things, they relate. So if the people are listening to us still, I mean, keep that in mind, because those are key to the success, the future success of any internal projects and the overall success of the enterprise or the company. So, so Amélie or Mo, you have the last, Mo, you have a last word to, before Amélie give us the last word.
Yes, I would love to ask Emily a little bit about, currently everybody's talking about AI, artificial intelligence, l'intelligence artificielle, and I would love to know, how do you see this tool in the world of entrepreneurship, as you have been interacting with entrepreneurs and you see a lot of them are trying to integrate it. So what do you think about this new concept or technology?
I was talking to someone recently who was kind of saying, if you're not using it to some extent, then, you're gonna get passed really quickly. I think there are some use cases where it for sure makes sense. Like I have some clients who do like data, like document processing, where they're basically taking it's like a time suck, like a waste. People are doing a thing that's gonna take them a bunch of time, and it could take a lot less time. Where you're kind of just doing the final approbation. And there's like some use cases where like stuff like that, where I find there's a lot of value. I don't really believe that AI is the future of sales. Like I have a really hard time, like, and I've said this on LinkedIn multiple times, like, if you don't have anything to say, don't say it. Like, you don't need to comment, great post, and rephrasing everything I said with like a bunch of, I don't feel like that adds any value. Like, sure, theoretically, you get some more eyeballs on your profile, but all I'm going to see is that you're using AI, you're too boring to add a genuine comment. So, that bothers me a lot. And then, like, the kind of AI, like, I'm sure you guys have been getting those. I'm WhatsApp, like, getting not hundreds, but like a lot of messages of fake recruiters, like scam things. And now I've been getting text messages a lot, like, oh, can we talk about work, or how's your day going, or whatever other bullshit. And for a long time, I would interact with those because I'm like, if I'm wasting the scammer's time, then they're not scamming someone else. But now it's all AI, right? So I can't waste their time anymore. It's not as fun. And it's just like, are we getting to a point where all the sales messages are going to be like, like I'm working on a project trying to do biz dev a different way for clients. And it's kind of scary for me to know that that's where we're going. Like, I don't know if you've noticed, but on LinkedIn, there's a lot of people now who are putting emojis or weird punctuation in their names. Because then if you're getting an AI message and it's wrote your name wrong, because they're copying your name with the typo in it.
Wow.
And so it's a good way to spot AIs and stuff, right? And I think it's sad that we have to like rely on that. Like, if you have something to say, it's not hard to say it. And I use AI for a lot of things. I use AI to kind of challenge my assumptions. If I'm going to do a budget for like a client project, I'm going to be like, hey, what are the areas I might have missed? Where like, are there gray zones, or did I under evaluate the amount of time a certain task would take me? And kind of just challenge hypotheses and stuff like that, right? But I'm never going to get an AI to write a post for my LinkedIn, and that's kind of, I think, probably what also really works for my content on LinkedIn is like everyone knows it's me because it sounds exactly like I wrote it, and it sounds like if we were having a conversation, that's what I would say because that's what I said.
You have great posts. I can confirm that. I like your post.
I think that might be because they're not AI, but like, again, I think AI is for sure very useful. I also like, have concern about like the kind of climate implications of it. As far as like the energy consumption and like the water that you need to cool down those server farms and just that part of it. This mentality of we're not going to be here to deal with the consequences bothered me a lot. I don't know. I have a kid,
It's it's a challenging thing because you have to use it to not being left behind and do our job at the level that we can do it versus the competition. I don't care much about the competition, but let's talk about it in that case.
But so many people use it for shit.
So protecting the planet. So having those things, we can have that in the north, but yes, but still heating the planet overall. So anyways, let's not go there for now, but in terms of
it's a whole other podcast.
Exactly. Let's invite a bunch of people to talk about these topics, and I'll be glad to participate, obviously. So what would be your last words, how we can reach Amélie Morency and how we can deal with her on LinkedIn? It's I suppose you have a website or something. So
I don't
to promote yourself.
I don't have a website. It's one of my things that I need to do. I bought domain names, so there will be a website at some point, probably this year.
You can use AI to get the website quickly.
I know. I want to explore, but I might. I mean, I really hate coding, so anyway. LinkedIn is probably the best way to reach me. I get a lot of messages, so I might not answer you right away, but I answer everybody usually. Unless I don't want to talk to you, but that doesn't happen a lot. I mean, I do get some messages that are, clearly AI sometimes when I get bothered. But no, I'm joking. I'm really friendly. I take a lot of real coffees with people, and I mean, I like just kind of I enjoy the LinkedIn community. I find that, I give a lot, but I find that I get a lot out of it too. It's really like. I'm not really on social media in general. Like LinkedIn is really the only platform where I'm engaging regularly. And I don't know. It's I owe most of my business to it as well. It's kind of a cool tool, but also just like I'm having fun doing it. If that makes any sense. The content and everything. It's
No, your coffee offering is a great thing. This is how we connected a while ago, and very friendly, 15, 20 minutes, and okay, good, let's so, and everybody, this is how you have built your tribe, kind of, and engagement. So, I mean, not the tribe in the full sense of having a guru and people, but more in the fact that people are interested in some of the things that you say, that we say, but you're doing a great job. So I'll try to copy you more in a good way.
Yeah, I mean, imitation is the greatest form of flattery.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm okay with it.
Good. So anyways, we'll have like a few things in the show notes and everything. Thank you very, very, very much, Amélie. Very, very interesting. I think that we could do that offline, like many hours, I'm sure, in Montreal or over here or virtually. And Mo being in Dubai is going to be more difficult. But if you pass by, I'm sure that you can go for a run or a bike run or a bike ride or something.
Cool.
Absolutely.
We'll do that.
Okay. Thank you very much. And hope to meet you again and meet you in person one day.
Yeah. Cool. Have a good day.
Okay. Bye, Mo. Bye, Amélie.
Bye.